Marathon Des Sables, which I did last year, 2023, which is known as one of the toughest foot races in the world. It's a 250-kilometer run, self-supported in the Sahara desert. And it's a 6-stage run, which means that you have to finish each stage to qualify and go to the next stage. It's one of the toughest. There's only about 19 people in India who've done that. I'm the second woman to have done that in this country. It's also self-supported, which means that everything and anything you need for your race, you carry with you, including your food. And you also run with your bag from A point to B point to C point till you finish the race. That's my claim to fame, as I would like to call it. But I think it's one of the most amazing races of my life that I have done. Marathon Des Sables, I think, it was for me like I call it a transformational race of what it does to someone who goes out to a race. I think it tests you to your level of resilience. It tests you to your level of fearful that what if you don't finish? I was the only person, I didn't have a friend. I was in an unknown country. You know, you're running in the desert, you can get lost, there's sandstorm, you're running through the night. You know, you're obviously scared at different levels, you know, of saying physical pain to mental pain. You don't have phone connectivity, so you can't really pick up the phone and call anybody. So you're all by yourself alone. I think it was a combination of all of these things which makes it so much more tougher. It's not just a physical endurance race which one does and then, okay, you go, you run for 12 hours or 14 hours or 24 hours and it's done. It's about for 7 days. You're in and out and doing the same thing. You don't have, like, no shower, no luxury. You don't have a bed to sleep. You're sleeping on that tent, which is shared by 8 other people. I was not a born runner. I had never done any sport when I was growing up. Back in my hometown in Durgapur, I was a pretty studious student, loved reading, painting. Such was my life, I think, till I had a surgery in school. I fell down and I had a spinal dislocation and I went through a massive surgery. I was bedridden for 6 months, and then in the process of that surgery, I gained humongous amount of weight. I was like 78 kgs, believe me or not. I was, and I think that was a turning point when I just lost all my confidence. There was so much of the weight that I was carrying, I could not fit into my clothes. In engineering, well, everybody used to call me Moti. I was in Bangalore and everybody used to call me that, and well, it seemed like fun, but somewhere it also did make me feel not great about myself. And I think that was the turning point when I took that, you know, like, I got to do something to my life and I got to change, and this is not how I want to be. And I think that was the trigger point of when I started my first baby steps into fitness. Well, then it was simple. The goal was to lose weight. And I got into some kind of an exercise routine at that time. This was early 2000, where the only kind of fitness women could do is probably walk. So I did a lot of walking, hours of walking. And to top of it, I think I just got some guidance on diet and how I could just eat healthy and help lose weight. I did lose weight. I think I lost about 15-20 kgs. And I stayed at that path of fitness. I think I joined a gym. Interestingly, even though I was in Bangalore, you know, gym was a men thing and women were not seen in the gym. So I still remember the first gym I went to had like a tiny room, which was a women only section, and we had a separate entry for it, and it was a very hush-hush thing, you know. It was not like the way it is today. So I think then and today, I think I've always been into this whole journey of staying healthy. Now in 2012, I remember a friend of mine kind of said, oh, you know, you're strong because you go to the gym, you've been doing this for 10 years. You know, why don't you start running? And I was like, oh, you know what, who runs? It's so boring. Why doesn't anybody have to run? I'm very happy at gym. And he kept persuading me. And one fine day I said, okay, I'm going to do this just one time and never again will I do any more running. So I signed up for this run called Spirit of Wipro Run in Bangalore for the first time, and it was like the half marathon, as you call it, the 21.1 distance. I trained for 3 months and I did a fairly good finish, and I got like a podium. I was a second runner-up, and I got very inspired, saying, "Oh, you know what? I never got any medal in sports till such time. I was not a sports person." So I think I got a little bit of a kick out of it, and I said, "Okay, you know what? Next time I want to come back and maybe become the second runner-up, or maybe even first." So I continued training, I think, for run from there on. So then 2012 and today, I don't think I've ever stopped running and I've ever stopped training. I have done probably 100 odd races, which includes all distances, 5, 10, 21, 42, a lot of ultras. I've run internationally. When I've run in Berlin, London, New York, Chicago, Jerusalem, which is one of my favorite runs. Of course, do all good big races in India. So I've done a solo 100K during COVID. Now this journey, as simple and as glorified it seems, it's always, it has seen a lot of challenges. Easiest hurdles have been like, that I've been injured, I've had a foot fracture, I've had a shoulder dislocation, I had a finger fracture. All of those are the easier bits. They're physical resistances which you eventually overcome. But the tougher ones were the resistances I got from my friends and family, my parents, especially my father. He never appreciated any of this. He didn't believe that this is how, this is meant for women. He always said, "Oh, gym are meant for boys. You won't grow muscles like men do. Why the hell are you going to go to gym? Why don't you eat this? Why do you eat in a certain way?" I think friends kind of didn't understand why I'm so passionate and disciplined about it, and what is in it that, why am I so crazy about it, let's say. I just had one thing that, I love doing this. And while people may have their own opinions about it, it is their opinion. It doesn't change the way I feel. I know that if I don't do it, I'm going to go back to being that 80 kgs. I'm not going to be happy about it. So I think I showed enough resilience to just overcome whatever they said and dealt and fed, and I just showed up every single day. If you're fat, people will complain. If you're thin, people will complain. If you are upset, people will say things. If you're happy, people will say things. So people will say. It's up to you to decide that what you want to do with your life and how do you want to take it up from there. But it's also about what it gives me mentally. The immense amount of discipline I've been able to build, the mental strength I've been able to build, the mental stamina. Stamina is always considered a physical thing, but the mental stamina I'm able to build running these insane distances, the training routine, the pattern, some of my most acquired professional skills to be, to say manage, to execute, to do goal setting, to do strategy. I think I do all of those things every day in my sport. And therefore, I think I've become a sharper professional. And as a person, I think I've developed these skills who are now my second nature. Like they say, right, if you do everything daily, it starts with a practice and then becomes a habit and it becomes who you are. Irrespective of whatever is happening, you still show up, you still train, you still go for your races, you do what you got to do. So I think most of us kind of just give in to those excuses. During COVID, I actually ran alone from Gurgaon to Delhi to back and finished 100K on my own. And I think it was great fun. I had a great experience doing it. I've run in Pokhran Desert in Rajasthan, a 75-kilometer, my first desert ultra, which triggered me, are you living by choice or are you living by chance? I think I live by choice, and that's where